What's good, everybody? Welcome into Early Edge Live. We do it every single primetime game in the NFL, and look who I have. The very best that SportsLine and Early Edge has to offer. Let's start because we got a lot to get to. We have giveaways, we have best bets, we have props, we have all of it. But first and foremost, live from Nashville, Tennessee, the Penthouse level. M Squared, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Coach. See ya, Alex. Great to see you guys. Fired up for another primetime game. Hopefully this one doesn't play like a Big Ten game that we saw last night. What a ugly football game that was. But here we are. Let's do it.
I would have taken it if the 49ers could have won it 10-5. That would have been fine with me. That would have been fine. But they couldn't do it. 49ers. Jimmy G, there's a reason you're not a starter anymore. Now, next, he is the best-looking man in all of the Early Edge universe, and he had an incredible prop week and a chance, I believe, tonight to go perfect. Am I right, Sia?
That is right. I'm trying to go 11-0 with the two plays I have today. Well, I should say 6-0 for the show. I had some NFL plays, but they were not official plays given out on the Early Edge. So 6-0. That would be a perfect day. And Mike, that is an insult. Your comment is an insult to the Big Ten, and you should apologize.
He will never apologize for that comment. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And finally, look at the little devilish smile he has on his face today. That can only mean one thing. He's seeing opportunities. Prop stars. Good evening, sir.
Coach, what's good? Cousin Mikey, cousin Sia, great to see you guys. With all due respect to every crew that I get to stream with, I have a special soft spot for this foursome right here. So I am fired up, Coach.
Well, we got a lot to get to, but before we get to the Cowboys and Giants, we have a little housekeeping, as I like to say, to take care of. Now, AB, the man who lives in the same building as M Squared, sort of, 8 floors below, he's in the chat. Any questions you have, he'll go ahead and answer those for you, and we just keep this thing moving. Now, we all know that we pick each other up. AB has been cold as ice over the weekend. So what do? We reward somebody. So who did we find, Jeweler? Who do we find to award our first $100 cold hard cash? No strings attached. We will Venmo straight to you, and I believe it is Michael Resha. And the reason we picked him, because he said this in the chat this morning, is my wife's Venmo. LOL, and it was just her birthday. So let's go, AB. Picking AB up. Wife's birthday. Buy her dinner. It's a win, win, win. Michael, congratulations. Now, as many of you know, I watched the President's Cup over the weekend, and my new favorite golfer is Tom Kim, and it's not close, and it won't be close for a very long time. So the PGA Tour put out a tweet today, and they had not one of my sayings on it, but two. And I said, if somebody in the chat, somebody on Twitter could predict which one was my saying on the tweet, I'd give out $100. Somebody pointed out there were two of mine, so I'm going to give out $200. But how do we make it fair? Well, I taped a video just a short while ago. Okay, Early Edge fam, we want to make this very clear, very fair. There was not one but two of my sayings on there. I just didn't give that away on Twitter. But many of you selected it. So we're going to give away not one $100 prize, but two $100 prize. In this hat right here, he's already a star. He's going to be a superstar. Whoever wrote that in, I put your name in the hat. And the winner is Bosun, B-O-S-U-N. B-O-S-U-N will reach out to you. Now, in this pile, what was my other one I said? Oh, it was my new favorite player is Tom Kim. I said that many times if you follow me on social media, and many of you are in here right now. Hear that? Hear how many people got it right? And the winner goes to Nate Morton. Nate Morton. So Bosun and Nate Morton, we're going to reach out to you on social media, get your Venmo. You each have won cool $100. And we're going to do even more than that tonight. So that's 3 winners so far. But the jeweler pointed out something very, very important. He said we have the biggest audience we've ever had in the 2 years of the show. We continue to grow, so we want to reward one other lucky person. If we get to 700 likes tonight right here on the show, before the top of the hour, we're going to give you the VJM, we're going to give you the donkey, and we're going to give one lucky person in the chat. Whoever gives us the best comment or just picks somebody up, cool, $100 live here on the show, no strings attached. But, gentlemen, we've got a game to get to. Cowboys, it's basically been even, +1, -1. It's been all over the place. But basically, it's an even Cowboys, Giants, NFC East. Best bets, let's do them right now. And I believe, Sia, you've got a fresh prop for us. So I'm going to let you start us off.
Yeah, so I do like the Cowboys. We can talk about that later, but I really like Tony Pollard. I was actually
no, you give
going
everything. You can do it all right now.
Okay, fair enough.
Right now.
I'll start. I'll start with Tony Pollard regardless. So 2.5, over 2.5 receptions. So there's a couple reasons for this, but I do want to point out that I also liked his over receiving and rushing yards at 59.5. It went up to 62.5, 63.5 in some places. So I've pivoted to this over 2.5 receptions. So last week he caught 4 of 7 targets for 55 yards. His route participation was way up relative to week 1. He was, I think it was almost 40% of a Cooper Rush dropbacks he was running a route. So I like the route participation in general. I like the fact that Dalton Schultz is not going to play. So yes, there's a reliable target in CeeDee Lamb, but I think Tony Pollard will be sort of that outlet guy. I think 2.5 receptions is a pretty easy place to go. And if for some reason the Giants actually open up a lead in this game, which I don't think is going to happen, I think Pollard is going to hit this even easier because he is that dynamic threat in the dump down game, in the 2-minute drill game, whatever you want to call it, and in the comeback game. So I like Tony Pollard over 2.5 receptions, and I like the Cowboys. I just think the Cowboys are a better team. If you're factoring in the Cooper Rush factor, I think Cooper Rush and Daniel Jones, you can almost just mark as equivalent here. And I think the conservative game plans are going to come from both sides of the ball. So I think when you're looking at which team is better, I do think the Cowboys have more dynamic players, but I also think their defensive line is going to be able to apply a lot more pressure on Daniel Jones than the New York Giants are going to be able to apply on Cooper Rush and that offense. So to me, it comes down to the interior. It comes down to the Cowboys defensive line and their skill players. The fact that they're on the road, they're getting the benefit of a good line, and I'm going to take it.
You're damn right. I love all those reasons that you gave us for the Cowboys tonight. I also like their quarterback, Cooper Rush, actually more than I like Dak Prescott. Now, Alex, I'm going to come to you because you love the Cowboys. I want you to validate Sia's pick, and also you gave out a fresh pick on early edge in 5. Remind us, please.
Yeah, Coach. First up, we've got Richie James, Giants wide receiver, over 34.5 receiving yards. James has been the Giants' top targeted wide receiver over the first 2 weeks of the season. He's had at least 6 targets and 50 receiving yards in both games to open the season. The Giants' wide receiver core is extremely banged up. No Kadarius Toney, no rookie Wan'Dale Robinson, both injured, both inactive tonight. James has been soaking up some very valuable slot snaps, which is where Daniel Jones loves to throw the football. I think Daniel Jones is going to have to get rid of the ball very, very quickly tonight, Coach, against Micah Parsons, against this Cowboys pass rush, which is ferocious. And when he gets rid of the ball, that's going to result in a lot of targets and work for James, who should be operating in the short and the intermediate portions of the field. That's why I like Richie James quite a bit tonight, Coach. And speaking of this Cowboys defense, I have been very, very impressed with them, particularly Micah Parsons, who to me looks like a potential defensive player of the year award winner. This Cowboys defense is legit at all 3 phases: defensive line, linebacker, secondary. I think they're going to really take advantage of a very weak Giants offensive line that has really struggled protecting Daniel Jones. I think you can take Saquon Barkley away, easier said than done, but there's just not a lot of talent around him. I think if you really emphasize taking Saquon out of the game as best you can, make Daniel Jones beat you, I think that's going to be really, really tough, which is why I like this Cowboys team tonight. I rarely give out sides and totals. I think this is my first non-prop that I've given out this NFL season, but I just think the Cowboys are the better team tonight.
For any of you who are brand new to Early Edge Live, what Alex is trying to say, I like to translate for Alex. He says it one way, I say it the way that you need to hear it. He really likes the Cowboys tonight. He just doesn't give out plays unless he loves them. I would listen to him and see it. Also, Zach Attack, he was listening to you, Alex. He gave out a play this morning. Saquon Barkley, he thinks that he's not going to have a lot of time to catch the ball. He's not going to have a lot of catches tonight. So we're going to play his under 23.5 receiving yards. Sterling Shepard under 43.5 receiving yards. Then I gave out 2 plays today. I listened to all the information. I'm going to go Cowboys-Giants first quarter over 7. Mikey, do you like that play at minus 129?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I actually lean over in the game. Believe it or not, a lot of people like the under in this game. I personally am in the camp that leans over. So yeah, I don't mind it at all.
Okay, Very good. That makes me feel better. That makes me feel a lot better. Also, I'm going to go with Daniel Jones' longest completion under 33.5. He's only had one over this number in the first two games, and that was a catch and a run and a busted coverage. So I think this is a very good play at minus 127. Something I'm going to do very quickly. We didn't talk about this, but I feel the need to do it because here at the Early Edge, what do we preach all the time, guys? We lift each other up, right? We're a team. We're a family, a crew. Yes? Yes?
Yes.
So Steven in the chat says, hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Had a rough day mentally, and the stream and chat keeps me rolling. Love you guys. Well, Steven, we all love you too. And guess what I'm going to do? I want you to play with me tonight. So if you don't mind, put your Venmo handle into the chat. If we win, then you and I win together. I will personally send you $100 from me. You can go out, have a good time, buy yourself dinner, buy your lady dinner. I don't care what you do with it, but let's play together tonight. Are you with me? If you're with me, Steven, put your Venmo into the chat for me, okay? My apologies, gentlemen. Had to do that real quick. Now, AB, our quarterback whisperer. He's been a little cold, but guess what? Everybody goes through it. Tonight, Cooper Rush over half an interception. Daniel Jones. I bet this is going to cash first quarter probably. Then the team total. Listen to what Mikey just said. Over 18. We love that low number. Then CeeDee Lamb tonight over 60.5 receiving yards. Mikey, let me come to you, and then I'll come to Prop Stars. Do you like the Cowboys wide receivers tonight, especially CeeDee Lamb?
I like them both. I say both. I'm talking about Noah Brown and CeeDee Lamb. I've always liked Noah Brown just a little bit more in this individual spot. Sia and I actually do a DFS podcast, and we've talked about this numerous times. We like to look for wide receivers who are typically wide receiver 2 or 3 or even 4 and have been in an organization for more than 1 year because they're typically spending a lot of reps with those quarterbacks, a few additional reps with them in practice and other situations. So they generally have a little better chemistry than you would expect, where versus someone like CeeDee Lamb, star wide receiver, likely not spending a ton of time with backup quarterback. So Noah Brown's a guy I really like. I do like Lamb. I like them both, frankly. I think that they're going to get peppered with targets. I think CeeDee Lamb definitely is going to see 10-plus targets once again. He's seen 11 in each of the first 2 games. I think he sees that again. So all the opportunity will be there from CeeDee Lamb. It's just a matter of how much effort is he giving individually and how efficient can Cooper Rush be. But if he's going to see the 11 targets like I'm projecting, yeah, I like him. I'm certainly not playing his under.
Okay. I'm coming to Alex and see. I got one for you. So speaking of Noah Brown, Alex, numbers over 3.5, minus 138, yardage over 41.5, currently a minus 128, and then whatever you're going to add as well.
Yeah, I actually like CeeDee Lamb quite a bit tonight. As we know, Michael Gallup was trending towards playing in this game, got in a few limited practice sessions, looked like he was going to make his season debut tonight, ultimately getting ruled out. Same goes with Cowboys tight end Dalton Schultz as well. I think a lot of people expected him not to play. However, he was questionable all week and ultimately ruled out just within the last hour. So I think CeeDee Lamb is going to get a healthy amount of targets. Mike mentioned double digits. I think there's a really good chance for that. He's actually gotten a lot of targets over the first 2 games, hasn't exactly been very efficient with those targets. If you look at his yards per target and yards per route run, I think he's actually run pretty cold on those. So I think there is some upside here. I like this. I think this is an advantageous matchup for him. And I think if he gets double-digit targets, he's going to have a good shot to sail over that 60 yards that AB got. So like him quite a bit. I think with Noah Brown, even though I have been impressed over the first 2 weeks, I think we're dealing with a little bit of fool's gold with him. I think some of the numbers he's been highly efficient, aren't exactly sustainable. It will be interesting to see if he's able to produce tonight, especially next week, as we get Gallup and Dalton Schultz back in the lineup. He's able to carve out a role. But I do like CeeDee Lamb quite a bit tonight.
All right. So with all that being said, see, let me come to you because there's a number that I'm looking at that's really, really low that I'm thinking about banging myself. Now, it's a little juicy, but it is Cooper Rush's yardage total right now around 203.5, 204. This seems very, very low. What do you think about Cooper Rush tonight and any of his stuff?
So a couple things real quick. I don't know if this has been mentioned yet, but Kadarius Toney is officially inactive. I think that probably helps those Richie James props quite a bit that we just talked about a few moments ago. The prop stars over 34.5 receiving yards. Alex, maybe you knew he probably wasn't playing. Obviously, he's not playing a lot of snaps these days anyway, but him being inactive, I certainly think that helps that bet. But Cooper Rush, I got to be honest, Coach, it's a stay away for me because I really think the conservative game plan is going to be on both sides of the ball. And I think Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott are going to be the focus. And I think if the defense creates some short fields, whether that be just good field position or actual turnovers, I don't see an opportunity, particularly maybe in the late third quarter, fourth quarter, for Cooper Rush to really be throwing the ball down the field. And because of that game script, I'm just staying away from that particular total.
All right, that is fair. Alex, let me come back to you because we have a question for you specifically in the chat. Lamb 70 plus at plus 124 on FanDuel. That's from Aaron. He says, Alex, do you like that?
I don't mind that. I think it's okay. I think considering you can get the 60 yards close to like minus 110, I'd probably rather stick with that. I just think that, the value's not quite good enough to play that alt there. I think it's more of a volume-based play for me. So, yeah, I don't mind it, but I prefer personally the minus 110, 60 yards.
Okay, very, very good. Don't forget to pound that like button for me. If we get to 700, then one lucky person in the chat will receive $100 cold hard cash. You can bet it. You can take it out. You can do whatever you want with it. But we got to get to 700 likes. And I believe I said 700 for the donkey. I don't want to go crazy. Maybe we do 500 for the donkey. How about 500 for the donkey, 700 for the $100? We'll separate it out just a little bit. All right, now we've got to stay with the props. Mikey, I'm coming back to you. Now, we're already on Sterling Shepard, as you can see, under 43.5 receiving yards. There's a question in the chat. We're on the under yards, but what do we think about the receptions, which are at 4.5? And let's see where it's juiced to. It is juiced to the I guess it's minus 102, so it's right around even money, just about. Do you like the catches, even though we're on the under in yards?
I think the answer to that would be however you lean in the game personally. If you're someone who's betting on the Giants and likes the Giants in this game, I would probably hold off on that. If you're betting on Dallas and think Dallas is going to be leading in this game, that's what I personally think you're going to need is a situation where the Giants are trailing to really feel great about it. I think the number's pretty much fair value at this point. I have the slightest of leans towards the over on his reception total. But not enough for me to want to go play it. Now, before we move on, I'm adding an official play. It's not on the screen yet because I just added it, but I'm adding David Sills over 19.5 receiving yards. I like this spot quite a bit for him. He actually led the team in wide receiver snaps last week. Ran a lot of routes, did not have a massive target share really at all so far this season. However, I think he's someone that is definitely going to be on the field tonight. I have this number at 27. Again, very healthy number, taking really small sample sizes and projecting them out here. But I like this as this is a number that is easily obtainable in 1 or 2 targets. I like this spot for David Sills. Probably not going to see anybody else in America recommending betting on David Sills tonight at 19.5 yards. But it is something that I am going to do personally.
Well, I say all the time, the early edge is not like anybody else in America. They do it their way. We do it the right way, as I like to say. And I would challenge any of them to stand in front of me, say that. Any of them. No, they never say anything, ever. Because they know we dominate. Now, gentlemen, we're talking about all these overs with passing and quarterbacks. But if it's going to be a conservative game script, if we're going unders with all the receivings, then what do we have to talk about? See, we got to talk about rushing, correct? And I saw a video about an hour ago of Zeke walking in, looking like fire, got the sunglasses on, and he's ready to go. The cameras are in his face. Then right behind him, Daniel Jones, looking like he was in junior high walking into the library somewhere. It was complete separation, but they were like 10 feet apart. Do you like Zeke tonight? Because here are the numbers for him. Saquon, actually, I don't even have a rushing number for Ezekiel. I have Tony Pollard at over 38.5. I have Elliott, his combo at 72.5 minus 131. What do you think about Zeke tonight? It's such a difficult situation because one of the few teams that literally have 2 number ones.
Yeah, Zeke's rushing yardage total looks to be around 61.5. So I would probably go
Okay.
under there. It's certainly not an official play for me by any means, but I would go under there. Tony Pollard, 38.5. I like the over there a little bit more. But again, it's such a finicky bet because we're not 100% sure how much the Cowboys are going to use Pollard as a primary back. Obviously, I think everybody knows at this point that he should be on the field probably a little bit more than Ezekiel Elliott, but Jerry Jones runs that show and he's going to make that decision ultimately. But I would, of the running backs, I would take Ezekiel Elliott's under of 61.5. Daniel Jones, I'm surprised that number is as high as it is. I mean, I know he's technically a rushing quarterback. The juice is on the over at 26.5 rushing yards. I'm not playing that either, but I think that number is pretty interesting.
So how interesting do you think it is? Because I'm in that bet right now, and I'm about ready to place it. How much do you like it? And Alex, I'm coming to you.
I actually probably would
yes
be
or
on.
No.
I would be on the under there. I would actually bet the under of 26.5.
That's what I'm betting is the under. That's what I'm ready to hit place bet. Just tell me, say do it. Say do it.
Do it. Let's go.
Right there. All right, Alex, talk to me.
Yeah, one bet I wanted to talk about that I like quite a bit that I've already bet privately myself, and I would encourage others to bet as well if they have access to rushing attempts, is Saquon Barkley under, I think it's 20.5 rushing attempts. You can find that line on both Caesars and DraftKings. This is a massive number for Saquon. He's been held under 21 rushing attempts in 39 of his 46 career games. That's an 85% hit rate to the under. This is just a big, big number for Saquon. He's coming off 2 large workloads in the first 2 weeks as well. I just don't think they can keep giving Saquon, who's had durability issues in the past, these heavy, heavy workloads. I also think he's going to be involved in the passing game as well. So I just think if you're looking at the potential range of outcomes for this game, for Saquon to go over 21 rushing attempts is just very, very unlikely. So I like that quite a bit. And if your book carries rushing attempts props, I would definitely look and see if you've got access to that 20.5 number.
See it, go.
Totally agree with that. I think the Dallas Cowboys defensive line is going to establish the line of scrimmage. And what that's going to mean for Saquon Barkley, he's going to get hit early in the process, much like Joe Mixon did last week against the Cowboys. So you have a pretty soft offensive line in Cincinnati. You have a pretty soft offensive line in the New York Giants. Dallas will establish that line of scrimmage, and it'll probably lead to a few less rush attempts from Saquon Barkley and perhaps a little bit more creativity with Saquon in the passing game.
All right, very, very good. Aaron in the chat is asking which interceptions that AB selected. So if you can, Jeweler, at some point, put those back up on the screen just so people that are dropping in right now as we're getting close to the top of the hour can see those. We'll go over our picks one more time in about 15 minutes. We've got a lot to get to still. We're going to do the VJM at the top of the hour. We're going to do the donkey at the top of the hour. We've got another giveaway to do at the top of the hour. So we still have a lot to get to. I'm trying to read the chat in real time. All right, Mikey, I'm coming back to you because on the Giants side, I think we all agree. We're all on the Cowboys. We all think the Cowboys are going to do well. Are there any other players, because you gave us Sills already, any other players you're looking at that people at home should either look at this week or think about moving forward?
I think it's Richie James, clearly. And David Sills is going to be very interesting here just based on the number of routes that he's run, right? So I'll talk about David Sills again because it's really these two. What's fascinating about it, he's ran a route on 77% of the dropbacks, and that was 93% in week 2. He's leading the team in terms of snaps and routes run as a wide receiver, largely a decoy so far, very low market share in terms of the targets. But in a game like this, in a division game, at some point, I think that the target share is definitely going to increase. Otherwise, why is he out on the field running that many routes on dropbacks? So that's someone I'd look out for. It's him and Richie James.
Okay. I want to come back to you because Daniel Jones, and we see the numbers, 8 in primetime games. He's the Kirk Cousins of the NFC East when it comes to primetime. And we saw what Kirk did last Monday. It was atrocious. So Daniel Jones tonight, his total hasn't even reached 200. It's at 199.5 minus 114. Which side would you lean there? Because early edge, fam. love betting quarterback props. Talk to me.
Yeah, I would definitely lean to the over there, especially if, I mean, this game should be very competitive per the line, but especially if it's a trailing game script for the Giants in the second half. He doesn't have a lot of like great receivers, obviously, but he does have a lot of guys to pepper here with some of the guys we've talked about, whether it's Richie James or Sterling Shepard or David Sills or even Saquon Barkley, the ghost of Kenny Golladay, however you want to slice it up. I do think he could probably get to 200 yards, which is where he needs to go. I mean, it is a very low bar in terms of that yardage total. Am I going to bet it? No. But if I did, even though the juice is on the under, I would probably take the over there. I don't think they're going to have a great time running the ball against the Cowboys.
I tend to agree with you. Alex, let me come back to you, because as I was doing my handicapping today and I was looking at the ADOT for all the different players that are playing tonight, I looked at longest completion for Cooper Rush. I'm already on Daniel Jones' longest under. For Rush, it's 34.5 minus 110. Based off your handicapping, are we going to see balls down the field that could scare this number?
I just don't think that the Cowboys really have the personnel with their current wide receiver group to really challenge down the field. That's not really a strength of Cooper Rush or this Cowboy offense with him at the helm. So I don't really have a strong take either on the over or the under. This is an advantageous matchup against the Giants. The defense has been pretty solid, but I do think the Cowboys can keep a clean pocket for him for the most part. But yeah, just without Michael Gallup, who's probably their best boundary or perimeter wide receiver, I just don't really see them being able to challenge much down the field. So I'd lean towards the under. Don't have a really strong take on it, though.
By the way, in the chat, they're asking how far you would play that Saquon attempts number down to. You may have said it. I don't remember you saying it.
So I would stick to the 20.5 number. I'd probably play it to like minus 150. If you only have access to 19.5, I like it maybe for a quarter unit there. But at 20.5, it's a full unit play for me personally. And I got it at minus 130 before we went on air about 15 minutes. So that number still should be available on Caesars and DraftKings.
Okay. Let me come back to you, Mikey. Question from Phil. Richie James, over 35.5, receiving minus 130. Good player, stay off. Thank you, guys. Maybe I missed it. I don't know what we said we'd play it up to.
Yeah, no,
My
I
bad,
like it
Alex.
a lot.
Sorry, I knew it was. Okay. Go ahead, Mikey, and then I'll come back to you, Alex. Mikey, go.
Oh, so yeah, I like it a lot. Once Alex was on it, I didn't add it on the show. I don't like to add things after another expert's already played them there. But my simulation on this number, the number is 44. It is again, small sample sizes. Depends on how you project the game. But yeah, I think that it's him and David Sills tonight.
Okay, Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, that's my official play for the game is Richie James over 34.5. I definitely play it at 35.5. He's getting really, really valuable targets in this Giants offense. Daniel Jones targets his slot receivers as much as any quarterback in the NFL, and they've moved Sterling Shepard, who used to be that slot receiver, to the outside. He's become a perimeter or a boundary wide receiver, which is not a great fit for his skill set, in my opinion. And they have Richie James soaking up all those very valuable slot snaps as well. Last week, Kadarius Toney, who was active, took away quite a bit of those targets from him, or snaps. He didn't get a lot of targets, but he was running a lot of routes out of the slot. So I was elated when I saw that he was doubtful for this game and ultimately ruled inactive, because I think that just pretty much leaves the job to Richie James. And yeah, that's where Daniel Jones throws the football. And with the Cowboys pass rush as ferocious as it is, and the weakness as far as the Giants offensive line is concerned, he's going to have to get rid of the ball quickly. That's exactly where he's going to be looking, is over the middle of the field. They don't really have a tight end threat as well. So Richie James should be operating in that short and intermediate area of the field and potentially get a ton of targets tonight.
If Mikey and Alex tell you make a bet, just don't ask any more questions. Just go bang the bet. By the way, I think Goose is getting a little jealous of your other little one in the background. He just jumped up and was like, no, I get some camera time too. I love your cats. And I'm not a cat person, but I love your cat. All right. Now we've crossed the top of the hour. And that means one thing and one thing only. We've got some stuff to do. We got the VJM first and then the donkey. Are we close to 500 likes? Where are we at on the like button? Where are we at, Jeweler?
Only 389 likes. That's not enough. You guys don't want the money? Whatever. Some people don't like giving away money. Okay. That's okay. If you don't want it, don't have to take it.
I mean, on the donkey too, for some full, full disclosure here, I typically play them 0.1. I put $100 on them for fun. I actually have 0.3 on tonight, so it is 3 times the size of a normal play.
I also want to point out that I played a Mikey donkey less than 10 days ago at plus 800 odds that cashed like almost at the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, I played that same one myself. But if hey, you know what? We could be selfish. We could be like every other show in America and be selfish and keep it to ourselves. And we're going to do that if we don't get to 500 likes. So we need another 120. So all you got to do is take the chat down, hit the like button, put the chat right back up. So we'll do the VJM first, and if we get to 500, then we'll give out the donkey, but not the money. You got to earn the money. All right. So for many of you who are brand new to the show, we do this. It's a lot of fun. We've got a club, metaphorically speaking, that is there. Right now, there's only one face in it, and that's the maestro. Larry Harstein is very, very, very lonely. So if you have a first touchdown score tonight and you want to play along with us, put it into the chat. It's got to be plus 1,000 or higher to participate. Mikey named this. He hit it first. And yes, C has hit it 8 times. It feels like anyway. So, Mikey, who do you got tonight? You're up first.
Let's make this the David Sills show. We've talked about him way more than anyone in America. We're going to do it again here. Plus 3,300 on David Sills. Told you how often he has been on the field. That is required to score the first touchdown. You must be on the football field to do it. Look, he's running a route on essentially every drop back. Led the entire team. Now the wide receiver room is even thinner in this particular division matchup. I like Sills. I think they've hidden a few things for him, and we're going to see his 8% market share increase to about 15 to 20% here very soon.
The things you find. I just wish I knew about these nuggets before I make my picks. All right. Now, Alex, it clearly is the David Sills and Richie James show. You found a pretty good number. Talk to me.
Yeah, real quick, as far as Sills is concerned, I do want to point out that he's doing something right because Kenny Golladay, whose job that he has essentially taken from him, is a top 10 paid wide receiver in the NFL who's relegated to bench duties on arguably one of the least talented wide receiver groups in the NFL. So the fact that David Sills has taken his job certainly means something in my opinion. So I like where Mike's at with that. But I am going to the Richie James well, that is, coach, who I've been talking about all night. Really like what I've seen out of this guy. He's been sort of a career special teams player, but he's looked really good. He's playing in a role that's very valuable on this Giants offense, and that is out of the slot where Daniel Jones likes to concentrate the majority of his targets. So I am going Richie James. We're on his prop. Figured we should make it the VJM as well. Nothing would make me happier for him to score a 35-yard touchdown on that first drive, coach. Get me in, cash our prop. Me and Larry popping bottles of Manischewitz in the club together.
I don't want to see a club that does that. I don't want to see a club that does that. By the way, Andrew in the chat, can the show please stop betting only odds more than 1,000? We would rather get it right than wrong going for a bigger payout. Andrew, I literally say every show, this is for fun. This is fun. Damn, if you want to play one lower, play it. That's not what this game is. We can play Cooper Cup every week. How much fun would that be?
Mike and Sia have also hit them at plus 5,000 as well. So this is fun and potentially profitable. So.
Correct. It's not like we're just throwing names out there. Damn. If you don't want to play, don't play. Now, during my WWE days, there was nothing more fun than walking into a club 30 or 40 deep. But I feel like if I walk in with Sia, that's like 40 or 50 deep. Sia, give the good people our pick tonight.
So, by the way, Kenny Galladay's cap hit's $21 million. And his dead cap hit, if he gets cut, is $31 million this year. He's not a quarterback, by the way. I know none of you have heard of Kenny Galladay because the Giants have hit him. But $21 million, and then next year is also $21 million. So, Coach, you and I are going to be in the club this week because we are going with what's going to end up being the safety valve for Cooper Rush. No Dalton Schultz. We have no Michael Gallup back. We are going to be seeing a decent amount of Tony Pollard, who, by the way, is playing he's trending towards about 50% of the snap share through 2 weeks. If the Cowboys actually want to win this game, and if they actually want to make competitive, good choices, they have to play Tony Pollard more. This is the type of game where we're definitely going to see more Zeke early, but because it's going to be low scoring, it's very possible that by drive 2, drive 3, there's no touchdowns on the board. Tony Pollard gets in there via a reception, via a rush attempt. Either way, it's plus 1,100. Coach, Sia, Larry, all in the club as of Monday night. Thank you very much.
I agree with almost everything you said there, except if we wait for 3 different times for each team to have the ball, possessions is the word I'm looking for, that means I lose one of my bets tonight, which is the first quarter over 7. I can't let that happen. See,
I'd like to modify my answer. It's the first drive. Tony Pollard is scoring on the first drive. Book it.
My man. All right, now, I saw somebody in the chat say 514. I'm assuming that's how many likes we have on the show. Is it? Are we ready to give out? Whoa, I forgot one very important. How did I forget? Are you kidding me? One very important person. Jeweler, show your face. My apologies, sir. My apologies. Good evening.
Hey, no worries. We have, in fact, hit the 500 like goal, and I will, in fact, just be myself and Larry in the club with the Manischewitz tonight, as we are going to sip after Sterling Shepard scores the first touchdown for the evening. He's the Giants' target leader, right? They connected. Daniel Jones and him connected for a 65-yard bomb. Let's see Brian in week 1. Let's see Brian Dable, draw something similar up. Let's get MetLife Stadium rocking. Coach, you mentioned the cats earlier. I got my cat out. She's a little black cat with the little white paws. You remember that Monday night game like 3 years ago where the cat ran out onto the field? I want similar vibes tonight, going crazy in the stands whenever Sterling Shepard scores the first touchdown of the game.
And Kevin Harlan on the call, as only Kevin Harlan can be on the black cat. All right, Jeweler, you are the man. No $100 winner tonight, but you've qualified for the donkey. We only have 7 minutes till the start of the game, so we got to do it, and we got to do it quick. Let's throw it up there. Mikey, take us through it tonight, please.
All right, donkey time. And just remember, you can get it earlier on SportsLine if you are a member. I highly recommend it, as some of these will lock. Let's go Giants alternate spread plus 8.5. Cowboys alternate spread plus 10.5. CeeDee Lamb over 44.5 receiving yards. Noah Brown over 29.5 receiving yards. Richie James over 19.5 receiving yards. And then Daniel Jones under 249.5 passing yards. Hasn't gone over this number since, I believe, week 4 of last season. Ezekiel Elliott under 89.5 rushing yards plus 600.
Very, very good. By the way, who was AB's pick? I forgot 2 people tonight.
CeeDee Lamb.
Who did AB have in the VJ? CeeDee Lamb. Okay.
Oh, the VJM. I'm not sure, actually. I apologize. I thought you meant his prop.
Cowboys defense and special teams. That's what
right.
AB did.
Oh, that's right. He's on tilt. He's on tilt right now, so that's probably why he picked that. All right, real quick, we got to whip it around, and just the new plays we gave out on the show, gentlemen. Alex, and give me the Richie James one. I think people are really interested in that. Quickly.
Yeah, Richie James over 34.5 receiving yards. He's going to operate as the Giants slot receiver. Daniel Jones concentrates all of his targets, like it quite a bit. I'm also on the Cowboys to win the game. I like their money line. I just think this Giants team at 2-0, they've been overachieving. This is a letdown spot for them versus a Cowboys team that I think has an excellent defense. I don't trust Daniel Jones in primetime. I trust this Cowboys defense, which I think is the best unit in this game, looking at all 4. So I'm going with the Cowboys money line tonight as well, Coach.
See ya. Go.
Cowboys are primed to win this game. I feel like they're very comfortable coming in here and winning, and I think the Cowboys are very comfortable just being 2-0. Cowboys are the better team, and they're going to win this game. Tony Pollard over 2.5 receptions. I like that one for all the reasons I've spelled out on this show, but mainly he will be one of the safety valves for Cooper Rush, and his snap rate and his route rate have gone up week to week, so I like that quite a bit.
Mikey, talk to me.
We're going David Sills over 19.5 receiving yards here. Happy to report we've moved the market to 22.5 at minus 120 on a few of the books. FanDuel's the only one hanging 19.5 still at this point. They're also down to 32.5 on Richie James, so they are begging for some action tonight. Yeah, let's go. Richie or David Sills,
All right.
the only one in America on him tonight.
Oh, I love it. And I'm playing Cowboys-Giants first quarter over 7, and then Daniel Jones longest completion under 33.5. Jeweler, throw up the donkey while we do our final takes of the show. So anybody, still about 4 minutes if they want to get that in. We'll leave that up there as we go around. You know I like to, every one of our shows, asking my cappers what's the number one thing they're most looking forward to. Mikey, please start us off.
It's definitely David Sills catching at least one pass tonight, so I don't look like an idiot. Other than that, it's going to be hopefully a competitive game. Again, I kind of lean towards the over in this one. I think things get a little weird in this one. Let's have a nice, fun, competitive game.
David in the chat said the David Sills Club is loading. Fan club is loading. So we got a lot of people playing that tonight. Sia, what are you most looking forward to, sir?
Well, I'm just hoping the NFC East doesn't embarrass us because as a Washington Commanders fan, usually when we're on prime time, we get embarrassed. The Giants do the same thing, and the Cowboys, they're on and off. So hopefully this is a competitive game, and we see some excitement quarters 1 through 4.
Prop Stars, bring us home.
I'm looking forward to seeing potentially the 2022-2023 Defensive Player of the Year, Micah Parsons, ball out tonight. Sack Daniel Jones, not once, not twice, but 3 times, coach.
Man, I tell you what, I love these shows more than anything, and I got to tell you that we're just getting bigger. We're just getting better. In the next 4 weeks, we're going to have everything tightened up, and you guys are going to be amazed at what we have ready to roll out for you at SportsLine and specifically here at the show. It's going to blow your mind, and we couldn't have done it without all of you at home. But it's about game time. So you know how we end every single show. There's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these Monday night tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, look at him. I love them all. Alex, Sia, M Squared, and Jeweler on the 1s and the 2s. I am the coach. It doesn't matter the day, the time, the show, the game. It doesn't matter. We're here. We grind. We grind for you. Only one place, the early edge. Good luck.